Hi, everyone.
Okay.
Welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Superpowers. I'm Dawn, and today I am with Marilyn Penny. Marilyn Penny is a spiritual life coach, and her company is lifeguidecoaching.ca. Thank you so much for joining us again, Marilyn. I don't even know what number this is for you being on the show. I feel like it must be like 7 or 8, but yeah, let's talk a little bit about what it is that you do.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me on again. You guys have been so wonderful, and I've been enjoying bringing all of my content and all my readings to you. It's been so amazing. So yeah, a spiritual life coach seems to be the way that people can most sort of understand what I do. I'm technically a soul realignment practitioner. So I do soul realignment, which means that we're trying to bring our soul back to where it was when we were created. So we've created all kinds of blocks and things over lifetime. So I help to remove those. And so I also do it for properties. And so your home or your office. And I also do it for relationships. So it's sort of figuring out who we are at soul level and trying to remove all the stuff that stands in our way from us living our divinity or living our soul purpose. So that's why I'm here.
And I've had all of your readings. I've done the soul realignment. We've done relationship readings. We've done property clearings, and that's actually one of the topics that we're going to be talking about today. Is the way that you do property clearings, because I do property clearings as well and psychic investigation, but I'm someone who has to go to the location and I'm the tool. So I only pick up what information I can gather myself, where your property clearing is quite different. And why don't you tell us a little bit about how you operate?
Right. Yes. So everything that I do is remote. So I'm actually able to, with the information that you give me, I'm able to access the Akashic records. And it's a very practical thing. I'm a very practical person. I like some woo-woo, but I like that combination of spirituality and practicality. So I actually just have like a request that I can access the records. I use the information. So if I'm working on your soul, Dawn, I would take your information, your date of birth, your name, your place of birth, and I would request access and I would look into all these details. And for a property, all I need is the mailing address. And the names of the people who is financially responsible for that property needs to give permission. And for us to, I like to be integral when I do this work. So it's always, done with proper permission, spiritual permission.
But yeah, tell us what your process is.
Always talk to people about your property is Swiss cheese. It's got holes in it, these energetic holes that are allowing negative energies to flow in and out, causes instability in your energy. And it also allows earthbound souls to come and go. And earthbound souls, which we've talked about a lot in my videos and probably a lot in your work too, are souls that are just not fully transitioned and they're kind of, something is holding them back. So they're connected to someone who is on the property. They may have been on the property themselves at one time. So there's a lot of different aspects of that. And there are earthbound souls that are either related to you, there are independent earthbound souls that have no relation to you, but are connected to the property in some way and kind of grabbing onto some energy there. And there are disruptive earthbound souls. And those are the ones that have been around a long time and they start to make a little noise and they will disrupt your sleep or they'll cause confusion or that's when you're losing things or you just feel a little bit odd or the temperature changes in your house. And when you have open portal ways, all this stuff kind of zooms in and out. So that's kind of how the portals work. So when I remove all of the energies that I find, I shut those portals down and that's a permanent closure so that those energies cannot get into your space anymore. So an independent thought form is like believing in the tooth fairy. So someone somewhere along the line created that thought form, a bunch of people subscribe to it, and that's okay because that's not a real bad one, but but there are negative independent thought forms, like for example, when people say money brings misery, or you have to work 24/7 in order to get in life, or if something can go wrong, it will. And these thought forms are things that people just create, and then we can subscribe to those, and that will leave behind an energy for us. So that's really important to get those out and shut down the portals. So negative energies can be created within, directed at, or created about our space. Within, someone can create, say, they say, oh, that place has got a lot of chaos. So they can create that feeling about your space and make you feel like, oh, people think that about me, and you start to worry and stew over that. And also someone can direct an energy at you and say, an energy of obstruction, say. So they're saying, I don't want them to succeed, and I'm gonna, just think that about that person, or they're jealous, or they have something, and you receive it and you say, oh, and you don't realize why you're feeling that way.
Right. Yes.
So
That's a
there's
good
that.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, just going through, there are a few other things that I do look for. So anger spears is the other thing. So an anger spear is like someone, so maybe you've had an argument with someone, and you can have lots of arguments with people and they don't always stick around, but there may be the one time that you received that anger and it got you upset, and it's going to get stuck there,
Right.
I check for gateways. So when we talked about portal ways, that's like a road for energies to come and go. So it's not slow in and out, whatever. The gateway is a highway of energy. So gateways we need those closed down, because a gateway will allow the energy to move quickly. So you feel bad for an hour and happy for an hour, and you're like, what is wrong with me? I'm not, why do I feel this way? I typically find those in houses with a lot of people. If they have, small children or dogs, and people are coming and going, and sometimes when there's even renovations being done, I'll find a gateway, because there's just a lot of energy coming and going into the place. So those are even more important to shut down, because that makes the energy highly unstable, and you don't want that.
I did as we'll see later on in this video, I did a clearing at a house, and I don't know the terms. I just go on what I'm feeling. And there was definitely then a gateway. And that's so interesting, because I didn't know what it was called at the time. So now I know. And yeah, it was like just constant like energy flow, but in a high anxiety way. So thank you. Now I know it's called a gateway.
And the last thing that I check for is what we call a land assignment. So the land that your place is on may have been assigned initially energetically as a sacred site, a battleground, or a burial ground. It doesn't allow for the house to be assigned as a house and to be settled in its energy as a house or a home office. So I just energetically request the reassignment, so that settles the energy, and we bless what has been on the property and what is yet to come, because it may change again at some point. It may become a sacred site again. We don't know what's going to happen to the property, right? So that's the whole protocol. I go through it all. We have a chat about it, and I've had 100% of people say they're sleeping better, their moods are better, they feel more comfortable in their spaces.
Yeah, it's just it makes your home feel more for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you just saw in our clip with Marilyn Penny, how easy her process is.
Yeah.
Because it can be done anywhere, from any time. She just goes into a meditation, goes into the Akashic Records, and clears the space from up there.
Yeah.
Unlike what we do in person. And so right now we are in an old 200 plus year old abandoned farmhouse that is going to be demoed. And because of all the work being done on this property, I thought I would take you around and show you how I do some psychic investigation. Okay. So one of my favorite things are basements. And I know it creeps people out, but if you watch the TV show Ghosts of Dufferin County and Beyond, and you want to see like full videos of what psychic investigation is really like, you'll hear me over and over and over again talk about how much I love basements, because they're just creepy.
Well, and also I think a lot of energy tends to hide down in the basement.
So it's something that, gives me something to do. Well, let's go check out this basement and see what's down there. Do you want me to just take the video?
No, I'm no.
Okay. All right, here we go.
I'm curious to see what's I can pick up myself.
Yeah, it's so... there's a light somewhere down here. maybe. Isn't this interesting? Because when I did check it out the other day, I could get light in here.
Wow.
And now that we're looking into it, we're investigating. Ooh, did you pick that up?
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're investigating, how creepy that the lights aren't working.
It's starting to look a little Blair Witch,
Yes.
this video.
Oh my goodness. Sounds and electrical issues. Wow. I wonder if there is another, like, am I missing something?
I think this looks great for video purposes.
Except there are literally, there's that sound again. There are literally hundreds of spider webs.
Oh, okay.
So I don't really know how far I need to duck.
Oh, I see. I get it.
Because I can feel them. Yeah. Wow. Well, this is quite common for psychic investigation. We get to come down to these wild, creepy areas where you never know what you're going to find. But usually we find a lot of stories, a lot of imprints, and some interesting sounds.
What is that? Click.
No idea. Yeah. All right. Well, let's head up and talk about the outside property. Okay. So we just took a look at the basement. I would usually go through the space, document what I'm picking up, and then I also want to check out the actual land surrounding. So let's go take a look outside. So it seems so serene. Okay. So, aside from, having some visitors from time to time, you can definitely tell it's a busy place for transient spirits. But there are a lot of imprints, and if we look over here, I see an imprint of two gentlemen walking in the field. Now, one almost looks like he has like coveralls, like a mechanic coveralls, but the other one is walking more with like oversized coverall or overalls, like a farmer, kind of walking. The guy with the overalls has his hands in his pocket, and he's kind of walking, looking down on the ground. So whether or not they're discussing what it is, if I try and tune in and maybe pick up like crop talk, maybe like a C name.
So Dawn, would that be an imprint or a ghost?
These are imprints, this one,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like a movie that just keeps playing.
So an energetic movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So an energetic movie where when we come across earthbound spirit, they often, it would be like interacting with you and me.
Right.
There, right? This is, I could walk into the field and it wouldn't disturb anything. It would just keep playing.
So the actual event just left its energetic imprint on the land versus a ghost that is an actual discarnate earthbound being that you can interact with.
Right, exactly. And Marilyn Penny would probably be able to pick up on any of the earthbound spirits that are in the area, any vortexes, portals, that type of thing, where me being the instrument, I only pick up on what I am actually seeing myself and picking up energetically myself, and that imprint is one of the things that I'm seeing. Because this place with the construction, I will have to keep coming back because there are going to be construction workers coming on site. There's that type of energy coming in. There's going to be a lot of disruption on the earth. So there's going to be energetic shifts. So just for our viewers, just because we do a clearing doesn't mean that it's one and done. We bring stuff home. Things can be transient. Energetically shifts, based on, the astrology or just the people that we welcome into our home or any type of item we might be bringing into our home. So it is something that sometimes you need to have more than one clearing, maybe like a freshen up. And yeah, so this is my style, and Marilyn's is from the Akashic Records. So let's get back to Marilyn and continue talking about her energy clearing and how beneficial it is.
So it was time for my property to have a clearing boost, right? And this is something that you do for your client. And why don't we go over the 3 things that you found?
So there were 3 for your property, and they came up with chaos, self-doubt, and inhibition. Chaos for sure, because, that's that feeling that you're like, there's so much going on in here.
Oh, yes. It's been very chaotic in my, that's how I would express it. So yes. Perfect. Yep. That's definitely, and actually, I think all 3 thought forms are mine. Like, they're not Steve's or my stepdaughter's. They are all, you nailed them. They're exactly what I'm going through. I lost my mom and Betty this year. And leading up to both of them, there was, they both were unexpected. And I questioned, I guess, my own abilities leading up to it, right? Coming from healthcare, I underestimated both situations, and it just shook me, and my self-confidence was completely blown. So I have a lot of self-doubt that way. And because of that, I'm very inhibited now, or at least I was before you did the clearing. Yeah.
Yes. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So since you've done the clearing, I have felt like getting back into more of the psychic work or the mediumship, and back into schoolwork, and the possibility of me being able to help people, where before I definitely I withdrew. Yeah. So I have definitely felt a shift since you've done that clearing.
Good.
So thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
Okay, so we've picked up some interesting energy in this location, but there's some other interesting energies that you've picked up in other locations too, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I would encourage you to maybe check out Ghost of Dufferin County and beyond for a lot of really cool places that both Marianne Kennedy and I have cleared. But I also have another clip with me that shows you a place I did out in Campbellford. I've done a few clearings for this couple in a few different locations. It was a fun place because they are so in tune with energy themselves, but they just sometimes need I guess an outsider to come in and validate what they're picking up on. So here's a little clip of some of the other energies that I'd picked up on in other locations. Okay, so here I am doing psychic investigation for clients out in Campbellford area, out past Peterborough, and they have done such a good job at starting to renovate. When I walk in to this space, the energy is so much better. My clients are really in tune, so every decision that they're making is really beneficial for the house. And as they continue to renovate, they're going to keep putting their energetic imprint on the space, helping to wipe out the energetic imprint from previous owners. Now in here, there is a big swoop of energy coming through here, almost like, I guess, like feels like a ley line, and it goes out towards where the well is. And when you first come down the stairs, there is just such a high energy, high anxiety. Most of the time when I do places there, I often have to pick up the energy or perk it up, but this is very high energy, a lot of anxious energy. And I just found out that because it has a lot of dog and horse energy, I just found out that this is this was run as a kennel. So from what I understand, all this space here were all like kennels. So not a happy place. So time to clear it. So I just went around and smudged the space with my white sage and a feather that was given to me by a friend. So what a difference it is now. Funny enough, there were a few places that I needed to spend extra time. Not shocking, the main area where the dogs were kept, but then also all these tools. So I'm going to talk to the owner to find out if these are tools that were left here from the previous owner or if they're his own.
So I hope our viewers enjoyed this conversation as much as I did, because I just love the way that you do it. I mean, I do it as well, but just very differently, and I'm in awe with. And I learned something new. I learned that the one that I worked on, it had a gate, and then it also had the burial ground, or a battleground. Sorry, because there were horses and men from the army old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So now I know also it was a bit of a battleground. So I learned a lot in today's episode. Now I can put titles to things. So if people did want to get in touch with you for a property clearing or property boost, if they feel like they need it, how do they get in touch with you?
My email is marilyn@lifeguidecoaching.ca, and my website, lifeguidecoaching.ca, and I'm on Instagram, and you can contact you guys. You can find me.
Oh yes, definitely. We are going to have all that information down below. And if you like this episode, please give us a like. And we would love for you to consider subscribing. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you'd like to be notified of new episodes that come out every Saturday. And just want to thank you for tuning in for another episode. So thank you, Marilyn. And we will see everyone again soon. So take care. Bye.
Bye.